Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
You guys have that sound of Zaz losing his mind at the end of the show. Zaz is a staple feature of sports radio in this market for 2 decades. And he's insane. He's just a crazy person. And so there was a read put in front of him today for Sweet Tomatoes, and listen to him get mad at, I think, the Sweet Tomatoes read or Sweet Tomatoes. What he's not mad at is himself, but listen to him escalate here.
Hey, for over 20 years, Sweet Tomatoes at Hollywood has been farm to table fresh. And Sweet Tomatoes in Hollywood gives you a limitless bounty of delicious garden fresh food. Discover fresh at Sweet Tomatoes in Hollywood and other locations in South Florida. And right now, call number 5 on the contest line, 786-534-0790. Say you have a 4-pack of tickets to see 4-pack of tickets. Say you have a coupon 4-pack. Four, you're going to go eat at Sweet Tomatoes. There you go. Okay.
I mean, who is he mad at there? Is he mad at himself? Is he mad at Sweet Tomatoes? Is he mad at that luscious buffet? Who is he mad at?
It seems like he's mad at Sweet Tomatoes. He should be mad at himself, though.
Okay, but let me hear it again. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Who is Zaz mad at? The Reed, Sweet Tomatoes, or himself?
Say you have a 4-pack of tickets to see 4-pack of tickets. Say you have a coupon 4-pack. Four, you're going to go eat at Sweet Tomatoes.
That can't be how Sweet Tomatoes wants to be represented publicly. Sweet Tomatoes does not give off anger. It's not angry tomatoes. It's Sweet Tomatoes.
Yes. And you can't get mad at Sweet Tomatoes. I mean, that place is heavenly. It really is.
Guillermo,
the bread, the brownies. Oh.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Can you get mad at Sweet Tomatoes?
Just fantastic,
right?
That place.
Yeah,
the
it's
chili.
Great. Oh, great.
Yeah, you just go in and you just pile your plate full of all the stuff, all the gruel,
What
all the
is
prison
Sweet
gruel.
Tomatoes? Billy, you don't know what Sweet Tomatoes is?
Billy, you don't know what
God.
Sweet Tomatoes is?
How is that possible?
I just thought he was doing like for the vegetable, like tomatoes. These are sweet tomatoes.
You walk in, you make a salad that they want you to think is healthy, but you just pile up
That's right.
so much stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing healthy.
Then you get to the pizza. I could go on all day.
The pizza.
It's like a more nutritious Piccadilly cafeteria.
No,
I don't know what that is either.
Okay, well, you guys are in the realm. What Sweet Tomatoes is disguised fast food for the healthy eater who lives inside you but doesn't want to actually eat healthy food.
I think Sweet Tomatoes prefers what Zaz did over what you're doing.
Is that right? I think Sweet Tomatoes knows what it is.
Say you have a 4-pack of tickets to see 4-pack of tickets. Say you have a coupon 4-pack. Four, you're going to go eat at Sweet Tomatoes. There you go. Okay? There you go.
So Sweet Tomatoes is like a do-it-yourself salad place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Kendall.
Yeah.
Do not go at 4:30 in the afternoon.
They're great.
That is
I can't
early
dispute
bird spot.
muffins, chili, pizza. Like you could blow through there. That is the rare place where you don't feel guilt about making 2 and 3 trips to the salad bar.
Absolutely. And then 2 or 3 trips to the self-serve ice cream stand right after. Whew.
I think most people think Sweet Tomatoes is magical.
So close.
I think most people think Sweet Tomatoes is magical.
Sweet potato sounds magical too.
Also
yes.
magical. I'm gonna start a rip-off franchise, a spin-off. You've got tomatoes, I've got sweet potatoes. Now what you got? And I'm gonna claim it's not a rip-off. No, this is my idea. It's totally different. Sweet potatoes is totally different than sweet tomatoes.
It is a place that you walk into. I don't think you're eating healthy, but you do feel healthy walking out of there. It's kind of like, I don't know. Do you get that with Fresh Market at all?
I don't think you feel healthy. I feel you feel bloated. Kind of a scam. No, it's not. There's not a scam.
I'm not talking about Sweet Tomatoes. I'm talking about the Fresh Market and Whole Foods.
No, organic foods are better quality foods, says Stugatz, who every morning comes in here chewing on a chocolate bar.
Oh, those are good.
You're not going to teach anybody about health.
Organic's all just one big racket, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you telling me those chicken wings we get from the Fresh Market are organic?
Yeah. Well, they're good. They're
roasted.
They are. That's right. They're not fried. They're broiled.
They're the best wings I've ever had, but there's no way that something is that good and it's healthy for you. There's no way. It can't be that. They're the best wings I've ever had, and they're healthy.
They're baked wings. They are healthy-ish. Like they're chicken.
Stugatz said roasted like it was fried. He's like, they're roasted.
I know. Well, this is what I want to understand. Honest to God, this is a part that I'm baffled by.
I mean,
Stugatz is an adult parent to 2 teenage children. You guys do realize, I mean, even more than me, he's a child.
Yeah.
Like, if you let Stugotz eat for an entire week without supervision, he would just be eating cereal at night and M&Ms for breakfast. And seriously, Guillermo, you know I'm right. If you left Stugotz unsupervised, he would absolutely eat the way a 4-year-old would.
I am supervised, and I do eat the way a 4-year-old does. I had Captain Crunch last night.
You don't have any idea when you ask questions. You were shoveling things into your mouth without asking any questions about them.
Yep, been doing it my entire life. Should I start asking? Or?
No, I mean, whatever. It's fine now.
I don't want to live in a world where I can't eat chicken parm, man. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not be here.
That seems like it's a great value of life that you have there. You'd rather not live than live in a world without chicken parm. That seems like the appropriate perspective to have.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think Fat Chris agrees.
If there was a chicken parm recall right now, it would end immediately with Stugotz's suicide.
But what kind of quality of life are you living if you're not eating chicken parm or something delicious? Like, you probably have a miserable life based on your diet, Dan.
I don't. My diet right now is very restricted, and it's been fine because I feel so good that I don't care.
Oh, you don't miss any of the...
Nothing.
There's got to be something you used to eat that you don't eat anymore that you miss.
No,
How
I don't.
Is that possible?
I don't because I don't care because I feel good because I'm not tired all the time. I was in a very bad place in terms of how tired I was all the time. I love doing this show and I was tired of work. I love working and I was tired of work. I don't want to feel like that.
Chicken parm though.
I think he was not missing chicken parm. You see any of these highlights from the Spurs-Cavs game? They showed Damon Jones on the screen. Good God, man.
Well,
you have let yourself go.
Speaking of sweet tomatoes.
What was that Spurs
Sweet
lineup?
potatoes.
What was that? Sweet potatoes are healthy. Sweet potatoes are healthy, Stugotz. Can you help me, Mike? What was the lineup the Spurs put out there against the Cavs yesterday?
I can tell you who they didn't have. They didn't have Kawhi. They didn't have Pau. They didn't have Manu. They didn't have Rudy Gay.
I'm going to give you some names here, okay? Just last names, and you tell me. This is their starting five last night. You tell me if you can give me their first name, okay?
Okay, this is their starting five. Let's see how many, number one, let's see how many first names I get.
All right, you know Aldridge, so we don't need to do that one. Burtons.
It's not Adrian Burtons? It's what's his first name?
I believe it's David Burtons.
Okay.
It's Davis Burtons. Excuse me.
The first time I've heard that name.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, I'm learning just like you are on the fly here. Anderson. Do you know his first name?
Anderson looks like Steph Curry out there, but I don't know his first name. He looks a little bit like Steph Curry the way he plays.
He's Kyle Anderson. Murray. Do you know his first name?
It's just Murray. His first name is Murray.
Murray?
They started some dude named Murray last night.
I think it starts with a D, right?
Murray and
DeJounte, yes.
Murray works over. He works in accounting for the Spurs, and every once in a while he goes and has lunch at the Alamo.
And then Green. We know we're familiar with his work down here.
And so this is how you would do it if you were LeBron James and you're like, yeah, I know this team isn't good enough. Let's go ahead and just fail our way to the trade deadline and then send everyone away, and I'll take my chances with whatever it is you guys get back.
Right.
It's a fascinating situation that he finds himself in because he will not commit to them beyond this year. And so they're going to have problems making any sort of plan if they're even 1% shading against the idea that he might be there. If they're thinking that he might be there next season, which would be lunacy if they were planning along those lines.
Right.
And so how do you, if you're LeBron James, you don't want to just go into the playoffs, lose early, and you don't want to go to the finals and get smoked again, and you know that that's going to happen. So what do?
You do what he's doing right now. You play poorly right up to the deadline, and you take your chances with George Hill and maybe DeAndre Jordan.
You don't just sit there and try and go into the postseason with this, do you?
No.
If you're LeBron James.
He clearly, Dan, they were playing so well. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, and even while playing well, he clearly knew that, or he thinks this team is not enough. They don't have enough to beat Golden State. So what do? You play poorly headed into the trade deadline. That's what you do.
Mike, has it ever been quite this obvious with LeBron? When LeBron leaves at the end, there's always some thought that he might, but it's never known for sure.
Yeah.
This seems obvious.
Yeah, by far of the two previous examples, they pale in comparison to this. The two previous ones were still stunning. everyone since last summer has been expecting him to opt out and leave Cleveland.
He's accomplished what he had to accomplish there, but what do you do for this season? LeBron can't throw a 33-year-old season in his prime away, can he? He can't just sit here and stay there with that team and take his chances with that team in the postseason, can he?
I think he thinks he can get to the finals with this team, can't beat Golden State. So I think he wants to go into the postseason with a better team, a team that gives him a better percentage chance of at least competing
this
with Golden
Cavs
State.
team would allow 150 a game to the Warriors in the playoffs.
I understand.
They can't guard anything.
I know, but I remember having these same conversations headed into the playoffs last
year. It wasn't like this, Stugotz. They were these same kinds of conversations where you were very correct in saying, look, I don't trust Toronto, I don't trust Washington, but it's never been this. We have never seen a LeBron team look like this where they can't beat a dilapidated Spurs lineup. And not only that, don't have a chance, lose by double figures, where they allow 150 to Oklahoma City and LeBron doesn't appear to be guarding anybody.
Yeah.
We've never seen it look like this.
It would appear, while not much better, they are marginally better, the competition in the East. Certainly the Celtics are better than they were last year, and the Raptors have made improvements.
Celtics lost 4 straight, though, Mike.
No, but the thing that's lost here, I don't think it's that the Cavs are losing. It's how they're losing. They're losing to bad teams at home. They're sitting there wheezing to a 1-point victory against Orlando where they're coughing up a 23-point lead at home.
I know.
They're getting smoked. They're allowing these giant point totals because they're not guarding anybody.
But when you get to the postseason, you're right. Everything you're saying is right. You get to the postseason. I just do it by superstars. Like, yeah, I'm taking LeBron over Kyrie Irving in a best of 7. That's what I'm doing.
And that's fair enough. And you will be right throughout history if that's the way that you make the selection. But I am saying that the way that they're playing right now, watching them play right now, they would lose to all those teams in the East. If this is what they took into the postseason, if there wasn't a ratcheting it up where LeBron is playing at maximum LeBron, if this is what they take to the postseason, they lose to Washington, they lose to Toronto, they lose to Boston, they lose to anybody, they lose to Miami, they lose to any semblance of decent.
They are very clearly bored, though. I know you don't like doing body language,
agreed.
But if they lose a loose ball, no one's diving for it. They're jogging back.
Agreed.
You can see it.
Agreed. And I also agree that they will try much harder in the postseason, and their high level is higher than everyone else's high level. But what I'm telling you, though, and I don't think this is up for dispute, is that what you're seeing now is not something you've ever seen from a LeBron team. Even the most limited ones where he has Mo Williams as his second best player, you've never seen this where it's just they're floating around out there and anyone in the league can smoke them. They'd lose to Sacramento at home and you wouldn't be surprised at all.
Oh, you're not surprised at anything at this point. I think they have the worst record in the NBA over the last month or so.
They've lost 10 out of their last 13.
Yeah.
They have the second worst point differential in the NBA over the month. I mean, it's really bad. And I'm not sure, not just like style of play, but the personality conflicts of bringing in a guy like Isaiah Thomas who has a very strong personality. Just see what's going on with Kevin Love. I mean, they're just openly fighting now in the media.
Since Christmas, they're 3-10. Only the Kings have a worse record during that span. 114.7 opponent points per game, worst in the NBA during that span. 114.7.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. That's why I'm saying this isn't the conversation we were having last year, Stugotz.
And they're shooting 31% from 3 since Christmas, worst in the NBA.
Yeah, J.R. Smith all of a sudden can't make anything. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Kevin Love jealous of Kyrie Irving?
Oh, yes. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he wants it.
Yeah.
He
wants out.
He didn't want any part of that. Did you see his comments? I thought we were keeping that in the locker room, but apparently not. And everyone knows that Isaiah Thomas is the one that leaked it. Everyone, including Kevin Love. Not hiding it.
I love Isaiah Thomas got there 5 minutes ago, hasn't played half the season, but knows enough to just pile on Kevin Love as soon as he gets there.
LeBron taught him well.
I wonder if Kevin Love is also jealous of the Timberwolves. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Kevin Love jealous of what's going on in Minnesota? One-time champion Kevin Love. This is a funny thing. Stugotz, how about this? How about this one? I let Kevin Love rewind his life and choose again. Does he make the same choice?
Well, did he have a choice?
Yeah, I mean,
it was a trade, right?
But he could. He was involved in whether he would sign an extension or not anywhere, and so he had some power.
He got a title out of it.
That's right.
But now he's stuck in the middle of it.
He got a title out of it, but he didn't get any actual credit, right? We thought he was better when he was in Minnesota, did we not? Did we not think that Kevin Love was a better basketball player when he was playing in Minnesota?
100%. I mean, you're not playing next to LeBron James, and, yeah, you get all the credit when you're LeBron James. On that team, he's getting all the credit. So, yes, I think we viewed him as a better player in Minnesota.
You know what's funny about this question? That Kevin Love, if you asked him at the time, if he had just stayed at Minnesota and right now was still starring in Minnesota, being 25-10 guy, but they were never making the playoffs, he would then say, man, I wish I had gone to Cleveland. But now that he's been in Cleveland and actually experienced what that experience was, including the championship, I think he might actually say, you know what? I'd be fine going back to Minnesota. I'm tired of being the guy in this locker room that gets blamed for everything around here.
He did have the lockdown defense on that Steph game time.
But does Kevin Love get any credit for that title? Does Kevin Love get any sort of reputation enhancement from winning that championship?
I mean, I guess he can say the year I wasn't there, you lost to him. The year I came back, we beat him.
Yeah, you could say it.
You've never beaten them without me.
God, he could say it in the bathroom of his home. Nobody believes that.
Can you imagine if he said that in the locker room?
He can say it to himself. Hey, when I wasn't here, you guys lost, and when I am here, we won. I'm the reason we won.
Do you think he said it to himself in the bathroom? Put that on the poll.
I think he's stunned that he's found himself in this situation. Really? I won a title. Kyrie's gone, and now this munchkin that just got to this team who doesn't play any defense
Bad hip.
is calling me a faker.
Isaiah Thomas, who played through the death of his sister, is calling Kevin Love a faker because he's got those bona fides, because he played through horror.
I mean, he is the most qualified to say that.
I know, but it's so unfair. It's so unfair. Like, nobody's qualified to tell you whether someone else is sick or not.
Hi, everyone. Stugatz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugatz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
You know what? He got me excited for baseball season in this Marlins team. He really did.
You are so full of it.
Not even close to fired up.
Stugatz.
Last time you went to a Marlins game, you went in a Mets shirt, and they put you on the Jumbotron.
They sure did.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on the ticket.
The Oscar nominations have been announced. We'll get to that with him in a second. He's a lunatic, if you don't know. He is about to do this marathon, this ultra marathon thing that is 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. It's just crazy. He's doing it with Conine.
It's crazy impressive is what it is.
No, but it's just an insanity. You have to be a loon to do something like this. How many people have ever done it, David? How many people have done, and you're doing it soon, right? Next month?
No, now. We leave tomorrow for Cape Town, and the first marathon is in Antarctica a week from yesterday, Tuesday, January 30th.
Wow.
54 people in the world have ever done it.
How worried are you about sort of the physical toll of this? Because I can't imagine the training for this is any kind of sane.
I'm not that worried. I think I'm more worried about being tired and sleep deprived because you run a marathon and then fly 11 hours to the next continent and then run another marathon. So I think I'm a little worried about that, but we're raising a lot of money for charity. And just a quick side note, guys. Why did you choose I Melt With You as my intro? Because it's from one of my favorite movies, a Nicolas Cage movie. Do you know which one?
Mike Ryan is the music guy around here. He's also the Nicolas Cage guy around here.
Yeah, I picked it because it was in the soundtrack of one of your favorite movies. I knew that.
Do you know which one?
Valley Girl.
I'm calling your bluff. Exactly. How about Deborah Foreman, huh? Golly. Sorry. I digress.
I actually knew that because I read a Vanity Fair piece with Nicolas Cage 2 days ago where he said Valley Girl was his favorite movie.
Mike, these questions were really in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Music and Nicolas Cage, like those are the two areas, if I can merge them, like you would be prepared to answer any question on that.
Yeah, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's baseball.
David Samson with us on 790 The Ticket. Before we get to what you're reviewing and the Oscars, let me ask you a couple of Marlins questions. What did you answer for us already what you believe to be the worst move you ever made, the franchise ever made?
The worst move I ever made, I'd say, was signing Al Leiter in 2005.
Yeah, you did answer that. How about, what can you tell us about Jeffrey Loria and him making decisions on personnel? Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, he was certainly involved as an owner, and he knew what was going on, but he always liked his baseball people. He went through a lot of managers, but didn't go through a lot of baseball people. So he actually paid attention to them more than he thought. And he would when he got into baseball in 1999. And some moves were great and some moves weren't great. He was a part of them, but certainly not the sole voice.
David, what's the most you ever disagreed with a move the team made?
Probably the signing of Heath Bell.
Oh,
really? Wow.
We had gone through a lot of closers, sort of cast-offs, like Armando Benitez and Joe Borowski. And we were doing really well with closers, and then opening the ballpark, there was just a thought, let's get an established guy who was really good with San Diego. And we just didn't know him, and it just was an absolute disaster, literally from the first minute.
If Heath Bell had been great, do you think everything plays out differently? Like that first season plays out differently, the trades, the stadium, everything plays out differently if Heath Bell hadn't blown every game that season.
He blew a lot in the beginning, and then Ozzie had that Castro fiasco, and that was all in the first month of the ballpark. So I'd say that both of those were not an outstanding way to open a ballpark.
All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about whatever movie it is that you're reviewing this week. What's the movie you got for us?
Well, I actually want to take some time to talk about the nominations and not review a movie. We can talk. I watched Girl on a Train last night for a second time in 3 days, and I'll explain why another time. But I want to mention Jordan Peele. People are going to say that he got a director, writing, and Best Picture nomination because of color and because of the political correctness of the Academy this year. And all I can say is that he is incredibly deserving. This is a guy who people associate with Aaron, and now they associate with intelligence and with creativity and with good movie making. I have high hopes for him going forward. I don't think he wins in any category, but I think his win is just being nominated. And I also want to congratulate Greta Gerwig, who is so talented, from Frances Ha all the way through this movie that she directed, Lady Bird, only the fifth woman to ever be nominated for Best Director, first since Catherine Bigelow, actually, in The Hurt Locker, which she won for. Greta is not going to win. I think Toro will win for Shape of Water. But the Academy, for the wrong reason, made a lot of good choices this year. So I'm going to pretend it was for the right reason. Because there are a lot of people who are happy.
Am I misremembering your review of Shape of Water? Didn't you think it was weird? Like you think he's going to win for Shape of Water? Didn't you think it was?
I do. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You may be misremembering. You may be thinking of everyone I watched it with. I watched it in Disney with our team, Hold the Plane, before running a marathon. And I think Conan was sleeping to my left. Mike Hill was sleeping to my right. And he was four seats
Conan's
over.
got no time. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Does Conan have any time for romantic movies?
Are you never not with Conan, by the way?
That's a great question. Are you ever not with Conan?
Listen, unemployment makes great bedfellows.
Okay. So you're going to run 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents with Jeff Conine and what was that Kinnear Matt Damon movie, Stuck on Me? Stuck on You?
Stuck on You.
You're going to be, it's going to be you and Conine. You and Conine, Stuck on You, 7 continents in 7 days. Do you follow these Razzies, the worst movies made over the last year?
Yes, of course I do.
All right, so this is Worst Picture nominations: Baywatch, The Emoji Movie, 50 Shades Darker, The Mummy, and Transformers: The Last Night. Who are you going with their worst performance of the last year?
The Emoji Movie. And I cannot believe that there's a movie executive who released that. I literally can't believe it. It's beyond comprehension.
Terrible. Worst Actor: Tom Cruise, The Mummy; Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean; Jamie Dornan, 50 Shades Darker; Zac Efron, Baywatch; Mark Wahlberg, Daddy's Home 2, and Transformers: The Last Night.
I'm going to give it to Wahlberg because he gets a lot of acclaim, and I love him in a lot of movies, and those were just money grabs, and I respect it. He's got a lot of money needs, I'm sure, with all the kids and all the other stuff he does. But that was simply a money choice. He makes great movies when he wants to.
Aren't you I'm confused by the success of Mark Wahlberg. You're not confused by the success. He's always Mark Wahlberg, and it's just this Boston guy.
Well, once you show your thing in Boogie Nights, I think you're going to have a career.
Okay, but that's what he's been doing since 15 years, and it wasn't his thing. Dan. It wasn't his thing. It was a prosthetic. Any of us could have shown that as the thing.
Wait, that was a prosthetic? No way.
Why is Mark Wahlberg getting all the Chief Plum roles in America?
He has an 8-pack.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's right.
Speaking of money grabs, did you see John Malkovich's accent in Deepwater Horizon? What was he going for there? Like, John Malkovich every once in a while will emerge from the shadows of thespianism to go and just grab money in Con Air.
So I have what he is. He tries to be Daniel Day-Lewis, and then all of a sudden he goes on Con Air. So he has very interesting choices and does some great movies, but then he'll do some crap. Whereas Daniel Day-Lewis will never do that. He would let it stay in his hands. And that's the movie I can't wait to see, Phantom Thread, which he's nominated for Best Picture and Best Supporting Actress, and he is nominated for Best Actor. He's probably the best actor of our generation. I used to think it was Tom Hanks, maybe Dustin Hoffman, but I think Daniel Day-Lewis wins.
Malkovich. That's a fun.
And it is Malkovich, but I'm not going to correct.
No, I just did, and that's a fine. He owes a couple of dollars. I think you made him a former Chiefs coach or something.
Malkovich? I made it Malkovich. All right, David, you're going to call us from Antarctica next week?
Whatever day that Allison says, I'm going to be in a different continent on each day. So whatever day you choose, that's the continent I'll call you from.
Do you think that continent will have good phones as opposed to all the ones you use in America?
I have a special bat phone just in case.
All right. Well, feel free to use that in any of your appearances on this big show here so that it doesn't sound like you're on a submarine, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good luck, David. Good luck.
Don Lebatard.
Hey, gravy vampire.
I'll stop laughing at these. I'm sorry.
Gravy vampire is good, right?
Stugats.
I don't even know what it means exactly. Like, what am I doing? Am I just showing up while you're eating gravy and I wait for you to consume it and then I attack your neck so I can get the gravy as it goes down?
You suck the gravy out of people.
Right, okay, but I wait. I just hang out at like Golden Corral waiting for people to put extra gravy. Like, how does this extraordinarily niche vampire work?
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugats on the ticket.
Stugats has spent the break showing me photographs of former Texas Longhorns coach John Malkovich. Also on the television screen in here, Joe Thomas is going to be on with us, the Browns left tackle. And I just want to make fun of him the whole time. He's been on ESPN for 2 days, and every time they put him up, the graphic has played next to 20 Browns starting quarterback. It's just hugely insulting to him. They keep putting him on the screen, and then they put the Browns emblem near him. So that's insulting. And he's the only Brown who's any good at his job, so he's out there representing the Browns with this terrible hair.
They're changing up the graphic now. Now it's 1-31 in his last 2 seasons.
Right. They just keep insulting him. I'm going to ask him, what's the most insulting thing we can put up there? 1-31 in the last 2 seasons is pretty good. But what does he believe is the most insulting thing we can put up there with him? I also get the impression, Mike, you know him much better than I do and than we do, even though we consider him to be friendly with the show because he's kind of goofy and doesn't take himself very seriously. But I get the impression that he'd rather be a sports broadcaster just cracking jokes than doing what he's doing.
Yeah, it almost seems to me that this humor is helping him cope with what's happened. He's only had one winning season.
But he's always had humor, right? Wasn't he on his draft day? He was drafted in the top 5 and he went fishing, right?
Yeah, he was drafted number 3 overall and he didn't attend the draft. He was fishing on a boat.
I think he does have those aspirations. I think he'd be good at it. I think that's why he's spending a couple of days in Bristol right now.
He's fantastic. He has a popular podcast with a former Cleveland Browns receiver, and he's really good at this media thing. He's incredibly charming. I grew to really love Joe Thomas, especially this year with the injury. He was out in front a little bit more, and he was giving like weather updates before Browns games. He's just incredibly lovable, and you can't help but feel for the guy.
I mean, at some point, you just got to laugh, right? Like, you just stop giving a bleep and just laugh at everything at some point.
Well, but this is what I would say to you. Yes, you have to laugh, and laugh is the best. It's certainly the best way for him to cope. But I'm dead serious about this. When I see this guy on television, I think to myself, oh, he was just born big. This isn't what he wants to be doing. Like, not that he's great at football. But when I see him on television, he seems to enjoy that more than what I'm watching from him on Sunday.
Well, who wouldn't?
Right, because his football experience has been, but he's been Kevin Love. He's been the guy who is absolutely great on a team that's never great, so nobody knows how great he actually is. Like, the Patriots need to trade for him.
Well, I think there's some merit to the point, to your point, because if football were the most important thing to him, he wouldn't be playing for the Cleveland Browns, right? That's a fair question to ask, unless he's determined he's not a quitter and he wants to see this thing through.
Well, I want to talk to him about it because I'm curious. So we'll do that at 11 Eastern. But I want to discuss another tension that we're having here around the show. And for those of you who don't know, largely the management style of Stu Gatz, Mike Ryan, Billy, Roy, Chris, Allison is all to either hope that I forget something that I mentioned or trick me. Like one of the management styles is to trick me, and next thing I know, bang, we're in the middle of something, and I'm already there, and I was tricked into it, and I didn't realize I was tricked. And I feel we're headed that way towards Super Bowl Radio Row because you guys are in here excited because now we're the big show for ESPN going down there, and you're excited with the guest list. And I was just staring at you guys like, no, wait, I don't want to do this show. You guys want to do the legitimate Super Bowl Radio show where you guys. We're the big show. We matter. We're talking to Patrick Peterson. Yeah. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh, really? You guys are trying to trick me into treating Super Bowl Radio Row the way you've always wanted to treat it for the last 10 years we've been doing this.
Oh, we are booked up. The last couple of years we've been doing the hipster thing of this is stupid. We're the cool show.
It is stupid.
And now we're blowing it up.
I don't want to.
Because we are the biggest show in America, and we're going to start acting like it. That's why Busta Rhymes is joining us. Yeah. That's why Deshaun Watson is joining us. That's why Von Miller is joining us. That's why Mark Ingram is joining us. That's why Alvin Kamara is joining us. That's why Patrick Peterson is joining us. That's why Terry Bradshaw is joining us. That's why Jason Witten is joining us. And that is all in 1 hour. Deal with it.
How about that?
You don't even need to show up on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm looking at this guest list.
I got it.
4 minutes to talk.
I'm sorry. I forgot Jerome the Bus Bettis. I forgot T.O. I forgot Stephen Diggs. Yeah. Ron McGill. Devin Hester. Travis Kelce. Oh, while Allison is in the wonderful food court of the Mall of America.
Allison, how are you feeling about all of this? Because you were not going to go to Radio Row, and now you are going to Radio Row. And I don't want to talk to anybody from Radio Row. Certainly not that list of slop.
Did you hear where Radio Row is?
No, is it in the Mall of America?
It is in Mall of America. It's in Mall of the
actual America.
Yes.
Okay, the biggest mall in the United States.
In the food court.
Is it still the biggest mall in the United States?
Don't care.
Yeah, Sawgrass is pretty big.
No, I don't feel good about it. It's Minneapolis.
I know. Okay.
I know, but I think a food court. I think of that mall and a food court is a pretty good place to be situated.
Sounds like the worst place on earth.
Oh no! I mean, just walk around and get free samples the entire time. Those toothpicks.
Well, let me discuss with the audience now, because for those of you who aren't familiar with the layers to the show. The bottom layer, the very bottom layer where it seems like everyone seems to get the most joy is when I'm annoyed.
I forgot Golden Tate.
Oh, wow.
Showtime. You heard it?
And so you guys doing this show this way from this week, my least favorite week. It is for a long time, for 10 years. This is my least favorite. These 2 weeks here, I just hate all sports coverage. I don't want to watch any of it because it's yammering nothing.
Right.
And so I've objected to Super Bowl week every week, and we don't go. You guys always want to go. We went one time to Jacksonville. It was terrible. Colin Cowherd fell asleep at 7:00 at night at a Mexican restaurant with us.
He did. It's true.
But
we were having such a great conversation with him.
No, but what do I do with this tension? I believe you guys over the next 2 weeks want to do an appreciably different show than the one that I want to do.
Well, I mean, this week doesn't really matter. It's, it's not Super Bowl week, but next week, it's not. Listen, you can ask, Dan, you're a great interviewer. You can ask whatever you want of these guys. These are big names. You don't have to ask them about the game.
I don't care about big names. I care about interesting people.
But I think Allison and Mike chose interesting people. I mean, there's a lot of people we didn't choose, you know?
Yeah, we said no to far more than we said yes to. These are the elite. Yep. How many football players have we had this season? I'll tell you one. Adam Thielen. The NFL didn't help us this year. Now they got something to sell, and I am here for it.
We don't need the NFL's help.
No, we don't, because we got this week.
Yep.
Woo!
Yeah. Bradshaw. Yeah.
I can't wait to be in the middle of this. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Eagles.
You take a picture with Alvin Kamara. That guy looks cool.
Yeah.
Well, Alvin Kamara was on the television show. He doesn't say anything.
Well, maybe you'll tell us something.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have the right energy for this.
That's right. All the Americans.
We could do it, Dan.
All the Eagles.
Who do you want to take off the list? Like, who are you not excited about?
You don't want Alvin Kamara?
I mean, the only one I wanted to talk to was Busta Rhymes.
You don't want to talk to Von Miller?
You don't want to talk to Ron McGill?
You don't want to talk to Travis Kelce? He looks like a backup dancer at an Usher concert.
You like Kelce. Come on.
You know you want to talk to Kelce. Quit being a hipster. Jason Witten, that's electric every time he joins us.
Devin Hester's on there, former Kane. I mean,
Deshaun Watson? I mean, this guy. Michael Jordan of football, like Dabo said.
Mall of America, food court.
Shake Shack, Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah. I got horses that couldn't fill that thing.
The bus.
Yeah, the bus.
it's exciting, man.
Patrick Peterson, we've never had on. That guy's great.
We never had him on?
Never had Patrick Peterson
Wow.
on in
How
our
about
show's
that?
history.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun.
This is going to be so fun.
It is.
And fake Howard Cosell probably wandering around the food court.
Oh, that's going to be a
And
highlight.
that's just what's planned now. Who knows who's going to wander through there that we can get?
Card subject to change.
Anyone. TBD.
Gil Brandt.
Why do you guys want to do this? What am I not understanding?
Because it's
Super Bowl week.
exciting. It's Super Bowl week.
But we are the anti-sports radio show.
Yeah, well, no, we are.
Okay,
But
all right.
because of that, we don't get to talk to Travis
All right.
Kelce.
Well, this is the blind spot that I believe you guys have. This is exactly the trade that gets made on selling out that makes all your loyal people hate you. This is the trade. You guys are making. Look how excited you guys are to make the trade that's going to make our audience hate us.
I'm excited about this. What's going on with you right now?
Yes.
You guys are very excited to make the change that we go, let's be the big sports radio show we've always made fun of. Let's become it. I mean, we should lose all our fans if that's what happens.
No,
if we look in the mirror and become the show that we mock.
No. Think of all the memories we're going to make. Big guests.
I'm talking to Patrick Peterson.
Big guests.
Yeah.
Big moments. And you know you're going to do some zany stuff that'll make Allison super uncomfortable over there. It's going to be a blast. Think about all the fun that we're having right now. Can you imagine if we're having that fun with Terry Bradshaw?
Who's having fun right now? I'm thinking about
I'm
this.
having a blast.
I'm dreading. I am dreading this entire next. I'm dreading the entire week.
Yeah, but you do that every year. I mean, you always dread Super Bowl
year.
week.
I
And then
do.
we do the years. We've done the years where we don't
Guys,
talk to anybody.
you've never done this. You have never done what you're doing to me this year, where a week in advance you've got 50 people on the guest list. It's not something you've ever done before.
Yeah, but but there was one year where we got sick and tired of being ultra cool for it, and then we were like, get anybody, and that was fun. So why don't we just do that for a whole week?
Listen to what we have done as a radio show. For 3 months, the only guest on our guest list has been Chris Sims. For 3 months. Chris Sims, every day. And now the Super Bowl is making its people available to shill product, and we are falling on our back like a prostitute. Yes, bring all of your products and all your names and all your celebrities. Football hasn't helped us all year, but here, during your big week, let's fall on our back and allow football to bleep us.
Yeah. Yes,
Yep, that's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, we're never going to get to talk to Deshaun Watson. This is our only shot right here. One shot, one opportunity at Deshaun Watson.
This is it, man.
How do you think the audience feels about this?
I think they love it.
You know what you're going to do. You're going to bail because if it's not good, you'll do 2 questions, have them promote what they do. We're still going to be the show. We're not going to say,
This
all
is
right.
where selling out begins, right here next week.
All right, Jerome Bettis. The Eagles D-line, Patriots offensive line.
Jerome Bettis has been on with us for 10 years, and you guys don't remember a thing that has happened.
That's
Except
accurate.
the only thing I remember about Jerome Bettis is one time he called too late while he was with the Steelers and ended up on the show after ours. He called at like 7:15 p.m. He was supposed to be a 6:30 guest, and he ended up on the show, on Jeff DeForest's show or whoever. There was somebody after us that ended up taking the call was picked up in the other room, and they're like, "Who's this? The bus?"
After we had left.
That's right. We left.
Are you hoping that happens again? Like he shows up on Stephen A. show
I'm just
instead?
saying I'm tired of having guests around here who don't say anything that you're having on just because they're famous.
All right, so I'm with you. Listen, I can be with you on the bus because it feels like we can get Bettis whenever we want. But like Mark Ingram, Von Miller, those aren't guys you want to talk to?
You don't want to talk to Mark Ingram or Von Miller?
The only thing I want to talk to Von Miller about is farting in meetings.
Okay,
that's it.
All
There's
you
the
do
interview.
that. But make sure to promote whatever he's promoting.
That's it.
That's fine.
Yep.
You do whatever you want with these guys, but I got to bring them in. We got to get them in the tent.
Mark Ingram, you guys think there's a real
what a
glamour?
year he had. Yeah.
He's been fun.
Yes.
You follow him on Instagram? I follow him on IG.
No, Dan, he's great.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you? Travis Kelce.
You
got an
think our
attitude.
audience is clamoring for a Mark Ingram?
They're clamoring for us to
Interview.
have fun with Mark Ingram.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, these guys go on other shows, and you see only one side of them. You got to crack them open for the audience. You got to once they're in our tent, they play by our rules, and if they don't, you get out of here, man.
Listen, what we like to do is, you're right, because these guys go from table to table, show to show, they're showing their product, but what we like to do, that gives us a chance to really stand out. They do the same interview every show they go on. They come on this show, they do something different. We stand out Super Bowl week.
Yeah, we connect with them. We say, how sad are you right now?
And that's because of you.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're the captain.
What do you think our audience here? I actually want to get into the meat of this conversation, because if you're someone who loves this radio show, and there are many, many people who do not, but if you love our radio show, the tendency is you probably don't love sports radio. If you love what we do, you have stopped loving whatever it is that sports radio used to be to you. That's how it tends to happen around here. Some people never come around. They just hate what we do all the time. But we're now headed toward the Super Bowl to do the show that everyone else does with a spin on it. But you guys are not worried at all about becoming the radio show we make fun of.
It's impossible. You don't get this show, man.
Right.
You won't allow that.
I won't.
We're dying to be that show, and you've been pushing us off of that dream for
I know,
3
but
years.
now I
man.
lose. It looks like I'm up against a losing fight next week. You're going to shove Patrick Peterson down my throat. We're going to be the show that interviews Patrick Peterson. That's going to be who we are. That's what you want our legacy to be.
Patrick, do you ever dream about speed?
Yeah. I'm just going to ask him about Larry Fitzgerald's ass.
Well,
Something
there you
homophobic.
go.
Something homophobic's going to happen. We're going to get Patrick Peterson mad at us. We're going to create some sort of scandal at ESPN. The Cardinals aren't going to want to talk to us. The NFL is going to be mad at us.
Don't talk to any of us.
Right, it's once a year, man.
This is my only opportunity to get Patrick Peterson, man. I'm taking it.
You want us to clear the guest list or what?
Oh, no, I'm not.
I do want to brush.
refuse.
I want to brush my hand across a desk like in the movies before people have sex that I've never had in my life. The brushing of the things off of the table in order to. That's what I want to do to the guest list.
I just added Kyle Turley.
Oh, yes!